So in order for this for all of you, I'm kind of looking back at the fact that you guys have had these characters in your lives for so long. These roles literally have been a part of your lives for so long. And you've gotten to see how far they go, all the things that have happened to them. Now you have to step back into this relatively early step on the path, kind of like you've had to really come back a little bit. So, looking at the cast, looking at Vox Machina, what has really surprised you about kind of stepping back into this period of the story and with the knowledge of what's to come?
It's interesting that because we're playing around with things a little bit and kind of having a bit of fun and being a little unexpected, um, the knowledge of what's to come is a little hazy. I have to admit. That I find kind of exciting. It is a little bit of what if you could go back and make new mistakes
Yeah.
on top of the old ones. Uh, yeah, it's very interesting seeing these characters that were from a much younger moment of your life, and even how we relate to how I relate to them from now is so different. But it's God, it's fantastic, just amazing.
Yeah, I'll say from my standpoint too. I mean, just going back and revisiting these formative parts of the campaign that we played together, and kind of riffing on what really excited us, what do we remember so viscerally, sharing those experiences, memories, and that excitement with the animation studio, with all of the development teams, and kind of bringing it to life and seeing what we can do to plus it, what we can do to make it even cooler than it was when we first experienced it has been a huge joy. But to your point, it's very interesting. Yeah, more so for the players in this game. I played many characters throughout the experience, so but they stuck with these characters for 5 years, going back to when we were playing it in our home game, and revisiting and watching them kind of return to those roots, but to look back at those early episodes, to recall what drove them from those early points to where we know them today, and picking the points in which those changes begin to seed themselves and play them to the teeth. It's been really fun for me to watch all of them take this journey a second time with that knowledge.
Fantastic. I do have to throw out there just because I was gonna kill it. Like I needed to bring it up. Grog is my favorite. I love everybody in the show, but Grog is my favorite. Uh, and it was like Caitlin Tyrrell, who's gonna pop in the screen right now, biggest Critical Role fan I know. Like she's doing one of these interviews later. You'll see.
Mm-hmm.
She saw me because I was my most recent D&D character was a big dumb doofus who was like deceptively like a really depressing backstory, and it's just like yeah, no, don't piss. Uh, so Travis, I'm so fascinated. I have to take this opportunity. What is it like to play a character who, on one level, is this fountain of dumb jokes, this beautiful buffoon who can roll into these things, but also still find it kind of keep him tethered to a very emotional core, to a very kind of complex backstory.
It's so refreshing. It's like I call it the island of Grog. It's a paradise sometimes because playing the character, you get rid of all the filters that normally happen in your brain to your mouth. All those are gone. It just comes out. It's usually a very childlike take on things, and that's very freeing, especially at the table when you're playing it and getting to jump back into Grog's skin. You know, he has such an innocent perspective on things, but because of that innocence, it really boils down to who he is on the inside, which is very loyal. He loves his friends, his family. He has, incredible protective qualities. So that's fun to play because on the inside, he really is, he does have like a hero almost, right? He just doesn't know it. He wouldn't say it, but he has this, it's in his nature to nurture his friends. And so I just love all the comedy beats. I love him looking at things in a simplified way. I always love the moments where like the strangest bit of wisdom pops out of the guy with a six intelligence modifier. But yeah, it's been an absolute blast.
It's such a you're right. It's such a fun like it's a great excuse to not take notes during the game. Is to be like, I mean, you guys said my character's illiterate. I'm so dumb. Uh, the beauty of
Yeah,
Mark is he also had an 18 wisdom, which made him very like goof. Like I was so good at looking. I was so good at looking at stuff.
uh-huh. Yeah, Matt and I had that conversation a lot. It was like, how can he be so wise if his intelligence is so low? And there are different forms of intelligence, and Grog just has a world weary intelligence.
Beautiful understanding of nature and the world. Doesn't really read, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Who needs words?
Yeah.
And then actually, I wanted to bring up that you really get after the first season with Pike kind of getting this big spiritual growth, this big arc in the first year. She really kind of shifts into this really fun caretaker supporting role this season. She has Grog bouncing off of her. She has Scanlan bouncing off of her. Well, she's never necessarily the heart of the group because she's also still, messing with her own, dealing with her own emotions, drinking with the others, giving them shit when they need it. Like, what is it like to kind of play that balance with Pike, especially given the growth that she had in the first year?
I think that's so much of who Pike is. I feel like she's kind of just the mother hen who's like getting stressed out when, everybody's getting out of her ducks are getting out of the line, of just trying to get everybody. Well, hens don't have ducks.
They do now.
They do now.
The turducken.
You know what I mean? That feeling of just like, come on, everybody, just stop doing stupid shit and let's all get on the same page and, fight the world together. Pike is my first RPG character that I've ever played. So there's that naturally, I think, was what Pike sort of turned into at our table. And I love being able to explore that more in the series and sort of showing Pike's funny side. And it's a blast. It's an absolute blast.
They're such fun characters. Like I wanted to talk a little bit about Percy because, like Pike got a lot of growth last year, and that allows him this season to really just be there for support. He gets to play into these other character arcs. Sometimes he's just going to accidentally hurt himself while trying to show off a trap diagram. Like, really gets to be a support character, which I think is a really good thing for a show like this to have sometimes, with the way that the ensemble works within the series.
Especially, and not to spoil, especially a support character who's not really great at it, which I also quite enjoy. Is really kind of going in there and not necessarily taking the brunt of I shouldn't have pressed that I shouldn't have pressed that button stuff, or the I've got this covered. No, I don't. Just pushing stakes is always it's so much fun to just have somebody around for a minute to raise the stakes inappropriately. But we get to learn so much about everybody, and I'm really there. Oh God, it's gonna be great.
All the backstory stuff was so good. Caitlin was watching the episodes along with me. She would message me all the time, being like, "Did you get to this bit yet?" She already knew everything that was coming. And I was being like, "I got to this one. Is that the one you're freaking out about?" I love my note of Percy at one point during the episodes was, "Oh, it's the Daffy Duck rule. As soon as he thinks he's in control, as soon as he thinks he's got the situation, something blows up in his face and he has to fix the bill around." Like, it's something. It works so well this year.
Yeah. And it's lovely having Whitestone. I really like that we sort of have especially for this season, having a base of operations that's really cemented in the group lore is so wonderful.
Oh, fantastic. Matt, I do also really want to talk, like everybody else got all this great depth, and you brought it up earlier. You've played a lot of characters in the series. You've done a lot of little pieces. I just wanted to compliment you on playing the hell out of an evil sword.
Thank you.
So well.
The apex of your career.
Misunderstood.
It's for me as a person that grew up playing these games and loving fantasy. What height for a career as a performer can you be than to be an exasperated evil magical artifact that found itself in the hands of the wrong hero? It was fun to do.
Exasperated was amazing.
Somewhere there's a method acting teacher going, ah.
It's like what if the One Ring ended up in the hands of Stanley Spadowski from UHF? It's like oh no, this wasn't supposed to happen. We can't do anything with this. I love it.
We were supposed to subjugate the lands of man.
As soon as you finish rubbing my bottom, no. Yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much fun, and like. Part of my joy in this is picking and choosing the certain characters that I feel I can bring my skills to in a way that makes sense for the quality of the show, and then helping with the rest of everyone's help figure out who to bring in to take over for a lot of these characters that I created and watch them come to life in ways that I could never have imagined. So like like being Umbrasyl, being Craven Edge, having a couple things here and there has been so much fun, but I get just as much joy out of watching new people coming into our little family here and then breathe renewed and more excited life into these characters that I kind of set free unto them.
Oh, fantastic. I think I've got time for one last question. It was one for all four of you, so I'm going to use all 3 of those minutes to the best of my advantage.
Let's do
my
it.
ability. And this is because you brought it. Wow, I think you just described it really well. Is that this is a family? This is you have all spent more time together than a good chunk of marriages that came together during the recent couple of years of let's call it turmoil. It's
to put it mildly.
All of you have done so many other shows, other games, other films, like other projects and other role plays. But this has to be such a unique beast to work together with these people that you've all been getting to work together with for so long, on these characters in this world that you've been working together on so long. What is it like? What, from your experience, from your perspective, what makes this special? What makes Vox Machina special, just getting to be these characters all over again?
I'll jump off. I mean, like so much of these characters have us in them. Like Ashley said earlier, there's so much of us. As an actor, you try and put your spin on a character or dialogue that you see, but the characters are ours. They came from our minds. They've got pieces of us in them, and we see those characters, and now we see our friends as well. So that rapport is just there inherently. We were able to record a few episodes in season 1 in a group room, but even when we had to go remote because of the last couple of years, we could just hear each other's voices in our heads. We just know it that well. So I don't think that's something that you can manufacture, right? When it's real and it occurs organically, it's just a natural thing, that zing that happens between people that are as close as we are now.
I think just to add to that what makes Vox Machina so special is it's where it started. It's where all of this wonderful good faith and joy and friendship really kind of kicked off for most of us. And so this, we adore and have love for the campaigns we've played since, and the other things we get to work on, other games, projects, and such. But this is so personal and so important, and it represents the beginning of so many wonderful things in our lives that we get to build it together and bring it and share it with the rest of you through animation, which is part of the reason why most of us got into voiceover. Is I'm very grateful.
Yeah, this is an experience like no other, and I still feel like I'm not able to fully describe the feeling that I think it gives all of us of, for years playing together at a table with no intention of anybody else hearing this story but the people that were in the room. And it was intimate and it was personal, and we all so deeply cared about this story, just the story, beyond the room that we were living in, or not beyond the room we were living in. And the fact that we're now able to sort of put that to screen, and also all the years that we've been playing on stream, it's a wild feeling. And to also know that other people are enjoying the fun that you're having as well and enjoying the story. You're like, oh, okay, so it's good. You like it? I think this feels like such a different thing because it's so personal for all of us. And we all so deeply care about each other. Like, we want to hang out with each other even outside of this. Like, we don't get sick of each other. At least not yet. Yeah, we all deeply care about this and want every step of the way and every inch and every second of it to be as best as it can be.
You're on thin ice, Johnson.
Shit.
Oh, this was a bad time to bust up deep slips.
It's all good until the CBR interview.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no context for this at all. And I mean, yeah, playing with action figures when you're in 4th grade with your friends and then somehow getting paid to do it and making a cartoon of it. I don't even know. I don't know. There's no context. I don't know what to compare it to.
It is so perfectly unique, and I love that about it. And I love that I'm being converted into it in active time, which has been really entertaining for everybody else in my orbit who's been yelling at me for years. Everybody, I've also gotten the please rap like twice now. Thank you, everybody, so much for taking the time. This was so much fun.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon.
I cannot wait to talk to all of you again at any other point. Congratulations again on the new year. So ready for season 3 after this. Have a good rest of your days, a good rest of all of these, and all of you have to get through. And I will hopefully talk to you all again soon.
Definitely
Thanks,
looking forward to it,
you.
Brandon.
Oh.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.